I'm going to let this be known right now. What I saw out of Bryce Underwood, Michigan's $12.5 million quarterback, it was eye-opening to say the least. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great week. Hope all of you having a great Wednesday night. At least that's when this video is going to be uploaded. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, everybody clap it up. Clap it up. You're sitting there wondering, Matt, why are we clapping it up? Great question, my friend. I'll let it answer it. Because we're about to talk about Big Bro. Yes! For the first time this season, we got to talk about Big Bro, a.k.a. Michgan. Big Bro themselves. And I've seen a lot of people saying, Matt, why you call him Big Bro? So, don't ask me. Ask the little brother, Ohio State. Look, I didn't give Michigan this name. Contrary to popular belief, they earned this name, rightfully so. That's neither here nor there. We're not going to turn this into a big bro versus little bro debate. What we're here to talk about is their new $12.5 million quarterback, Bryce Underwood. And for some odd reason, I want to call him Bryce Young, but no, it's not Young, it's Underwood. So I've been told for a very long time that this Underwood kid, he's a real deal. And it's not to say that I don't believe it. It's more so of, it's really hard for me to analyze quarterbacks based off a high school film, even if you go to an ING Academy, because most of those guys you're playing up against, they're going to be selling insurance in a few years. But the one thing that has always held true with everybody I've talked about in the industry is they're like, yeah, Matt, I know you really don't like to hype up quarterbacks coming out of high school, but Underwood, he's on a different level. The people that, or a better way of saying it, just all the people part of the media, they have heard more about Bryce Underwood than Arch Manning. Your casual fan has heard more about Arch Manning than Bryce Underwood. Nobody that I've talked to at least has been like, oh yeah, Arch Manning has the potential to be the number one draft pick in the NFL. Not a soul. Maybe, like I said, your Texas fans, but outside of that, it's crickets. For Bryce Underwood, completely different story. I had a source tell me last year he was going to be a first-round pick. And I don't get mad if you say that about a freshman quarterback, because at least you have some film to base that off of. But they were saying that before he even played a snap at the collegiate level. I share all that with you to say this. My personal bar for Underwood was higher than most freshman quarterbacks. The one game that flew under the radar this week, and because granted it was a cupcake, Michigan, and more importantly, Bryce Underwood, was going up against New Mexico. I watched this game and I also watched film on it. I watched every single one of Bryce Underwood's throws, not once, but twice. And let me tell you something right now. The box score, you can just throw it out the window. It doesn't do it any justice. It's going to show you he has a QBR 54.2, but that is completely irrelevant. I'm going to let this be known right now. What I saw out of Bryce Underwood, Michigan's $12.5 million quarterback, it was eye-opening to say the least. What exactly do I mean by that? Let's just say he didn't look like a freshman quarterback. He looked like a Lenore Sellers and a Garrett Nussmeier. Guys that are currently right now the front runners for the Heisman Trophy. For my Michigan fans, this is going to sound like music to your ears. And for everyone watching or listening to this video, thank you by the way, I don't want you to take what I'm saying lightly. When I was watching the film on this game, I was trying to look for reasons as to why I should belittle him, as to why I shouldn't hype him up in this video. I was watching it going, no, wait a minute. No, he's got to have some flaws. Not even just some. He's got to have a bunch of flaws. He's a freshman quarterback. But you want to know one of the only flaws I saw in him, and this is really nitpicking at the end of the day. I don't think it's that big of a deal. He threw the ball too hard at times. That's it. There were a few instances where his receivers were about 17 yards away and he threw a bullet at him. He just got to take some steam off of it. But that's not even a bad trait to have, because when you get to the next level, and this is a different video for a different day, the National Football League, you got to throw those missiles in there. You don't have as much time, or the window isn't as big. Everybody knows this. You can't throw floaters in the NFL. That's just begging to be picked off. His pocket presence, elite. If I'd grade that, 9 out of 10. And one thing that was very different from Arch Manning is he actually looked comfortable back there. His mechanics were the mechanics I expect out of a guy who is just not a 5-star recruit, but getting paid $12 million. Really good, and it looked like, I know it just seems I'm like overhyping this guy, but I'm just calling it for how I see it. He looked like an NFL quarterback playing in a college football game. I thought I was tripping. I went back and watched the film on Nussmeier. I watched the film on Lenore Sellers against Virginia Tech, and he's up there with those guys already. Let me address this before I forget. I already know you got Timothy and Bobby. Fly to the comment section. I can see you, Timothy. I can smell you, matter of fact. By the way, you need to take a shower. But Matt, he didn't play anybody. Like you said, he played a cupcake. He played in Mexico. I get it. Calm down. But here would be my rebuttal to you, if you're one of those people saying that, Bobby. Notice how I didn't bring up, or I haven't brought up, his completion percentage. Notice how I haven't brought up he threw for 250 yards, had one touchdown, my apologies, and 0 interceptions. I haven't brought up any of the stats. What am I talking about? What am I bringing up? How he throws the football, his mechanics, his pocket presence, stuff like that. In all of that, it doesn't even matter who you're playing. That's going to translate over to each and every single game. No disrespect to Davis Warren. This isn't anything personal. It's just a football take. He looked like garbage, or he does look like garbage if you watch his film from last year, compared to Underwood. This is so exciting for Michigan fans. You have a legit, top-notch quarterback on your team right now. Right now! I don't think he needs 2 years to develop. I don't think he needs a year. He's ready to go out there and single-handedly carry you to some wins. And what's really scary about it, especially for Michigan opponents, is Michigan is a run-first team. They are one of the best rushing teams in the nation. So now you mean to tell me one of the best rushing teams also has one of the best quarterbacks? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And you should be scared if you play these guys. Because last year, how you beat Michigan is very simple. You put 7-8 in the box, say, all right, Davis Warren, if you beat me, I'll tip my cap to you. I don't think you can do that this year with Bryce Underwood because he can go out there and beat you. I can't even believe I'm about to say this. I'm trying not to buy into the hype, but I don't know how you couldn't. He's worth every bit of that $12 million they're giving him, or $12.5 million. I'm just going to say $12 million. One thing that I noticed in particular is, did you see how Arch Manning was holding onto the ball a long time against Ohio State? That's because young quarterback, and he's struggling to read the defense. But Bryce Underwood, he gets the ball out like boom, just like that. I will say there were a couple throws against New Mexico that potentially could have been picked off that weren't, and I'm not even too mad or upset about that because that's how you got to play if you're the quarterback. You can't just throw the ball when you know for certain somebody is wide open. You got to try to fit in those windows. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work. It is what it is. I'll tell you this before it even happens, so if you're a Michigan fan, be ready. He's going to have some terrible throws this year, some head-scratching throws, and you're going to sit there going, man, why in the world did he throw that? The guy wasn't even that open. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So just be ready for it. But you're going to have to live with it. The difference with him, though, and Davis Warren, I guess we're just going to pick on him in this video, is Davis Warren wouldn't make up for it, whereas Underwood will make up for it. You better believe that. Things get real interesting real fast, though, because in a few days, he plays Oklahoma, a top 25 team. I think he's going to fare out A-OK, and he's going to be just fine. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because this is not a prediction/preview video. Be on the lookout for that. It's coming this week. I can't get over how fast Underwood's decision-making is and how quick he gets the ball out. It's just not normal to see that out of freshman quarterbacks because a lot of times they're skittish and just waiting for the player to be open then and there, and then they throw it. But he's actually throwing with anticipation. Let me give you an example. If Bryce Underwood had a stock value and he's right now valued at like $15, $20, I'd say buy as much as you can. Heck, now that I think about it, he's probably not even valued that high. Since he's a freshman and most people ain't seen him play, he's probably only like a $6 or $7 stock. Doesn't matter. If you got to ask me, anything under $50 is a buy now. So just, you better buy in, and if it does continue to go up, you better not be shocked. I'll give you an example. So Arch Manning's stock price heading into the Ohio State game was at like $75 to $80. Well, now it's probably at 30 or 40. So since everybody's selling the Arch Manning stock, go buy you some Bryce Underwood stock. You'll thank me later. Many more things I could say. We're going to end up this video here. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But